Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada 7 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Rosemary Gross. Rosemary, thanks so much for the support. We really appreciate it, and we couldn't do this without you. Thanks again. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. So, sorry there was no spoiler yesterday, but just couldn't make it happen with everything else that I had going on. But don't worry, we're back. Let's do a quick rewind. Mackie's eviction was crazy. We were not expecting that to be a tied vote. And then apparently there was a huge blow up after the eviction, before the feeds came back. And okay, everybody who was like at the live taping on Twitter was saying like, oh my god, it was so crazy, I can't wait for Sunday's episode. And I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. So I just saw a preview of it for Sunday's episode, and like the way they made it sound, it was like they're all screaming at each other and stuff. It was not like that, unless they just didn't show that part, but I don't know why they wouldn't tease some of that in the preview. But this was such a Canadian blow up, because everyone was just like, oh, I can't believe you've done this, oh my goodness. Like, it was like that. I mean, it was tense, but it wasn't like, ah! So it wasn't, oh, that's cute, real cute. It wasn't a Brett Rockstar situation. But anyway, Kira was being really obnoxious, especially for somebody who just barely made it out of that vote. So Kira was like, oh, the game just started, and Kaylin's like, the game has already been going on for 2 weeks, but okay. And then Adam was calling people out for not voting the way that they like said they were gonna vote, and Damien's like, I promised Mackie that I was gonna keep him, so I did. And then there were a lot of people involved, but that Kira, man. Kira is a lot. I think some people are starting to regret keeping them. Okay, but hopefully we'll see more of that blow up on Sunday night's episode. Okay, so then we saw that Chelsea won the HOH, and the feeds came back after her room reveal. And I have to say, Big Brother is reusing past plushies. I was under the impression that those were personal items that were sent in by the house guest family and friends. You know how like everybody gets a stuffed animal every week? Thank you to Hamster Watch for pointing out those are reused. Like this week, Chelsea has the orange tabby cat that Paris kept getting last season. And like, didn't Dane have like a Pomeranian dog or something? Didn't Derek have that last season? I feel like he did. So they're like reusing. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Okay, so then Big Brother also reopened the archives room on Thursday night. There were more boxes and more files for them to throw around. Okay, so then it was time to get down to business here. Chelsea was strategizing with Adam, Sam, and Kira. And with the split vote this week, obviously there are lots of people to choose from for nominations, because there were 5 votes to evict Kira. So that's 5 people that are potentially not on your side. So Chelsea does say, you know what, I'm not putting up Eddie, because we know that Chelsea has a secret deal with Eddie, but she obviously doesn't tell them about that. And Chelsea says she also doesn't really want to put up Esty because she wants to keep Dane happy, and she knows that Dane is pretty close to Esty. Okay, he's close, and then Esty's like friends. Okay, so then Chelsea, it seems like, wants to target Kaylin this week, but she's afraid because she doesn't want to give Kaylin tons of time to campaign. She's seen what Kaylin is capable of when she's not on the block and she's campaigning for someone else to go. So she's kind of like, holy shit, like what's going to happen if Kaylin is actually on the block? So she wants to target her, but she wants to wait and do it after the power veto. So they land on putting up Kiki and Damien. Again, they do plan to backdoor Kaylin, but if the veto is not used, right now they're saying that Kiki would become the target, but who knows if that would actually stick, judging by some of the later conversations that we're going to get to. So then after that, Chelsea was having some HOH chats. She's taking meetings in the HOH room. You know, everybody's got to get their say in. And everybody's pretty much saying, like, I want to work with you. The people that voted for Mackie to stay were like, I already promised my vote to him, and I didn't want to go back on my word. And it didn't seem like any of the talks really changed Chelsea's plans, so let's move on. Let's talk about yesterday. The feeds were down a lot for many, many hours. And it turns out it's because they had a have-not competition. Woo! I'm so excited because the U.S. seasons do not do enough have-not competitions now. It's kind of a bummer, but I'm glad that it's happening. So thank you, Big Brother Canada. And it sounds like they had to eat like lots of gross stuff. I'm not sure what exactly, but we'll see. And it sounds like Damien also barfed on Chelsea. Is that why he's going up? Oh, no, it's not. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the have-nots this week are Eddie, Anthony, and Sam, which means it's the second week in a row for Sam. Oof. Okay, so then after that was all done, Chelsea decides she's going to break the news to Damien because he is the pawn this week, and she wants to make sure that he knows that and he's comfortable with it. So she's telling Damien, you're not on my radar, but I'm going to put you on the block. Seems a little bit contradictory there. I don't know. But Damien's just like, shit. So Chelsea's saying, I'm going to make it very clear to you and the whole house that you're just a pawn. And she says, we haven't had a lot of game conversations, so this would really ruffle the least amount of feathers because Damien has been up on the block before, so she wouldn't have to piss off another person, you know? But she says, as a human, I think you're the sweetest person. This isn't personal at all. And she says, I want you to win the veto and pull yourself down. She says, my target is the other person that I'm putting up beside you. Now, that is true if the veto isn't used. But she doesn't want to go around telling everybody that Kaylin is her #1 target. She wants to keep that backdoor secret because obviously she doesn't want that getting back to Kaylin. That defeats the whole purpose. So she's telling most people that Kiki is the target. But she says, I don't want people in this game who are going to float to the end. What? Does she mean float or coast? Because again, there's a huge difference. And I feel like it's a little bit too early in the game to call someone a floater or a coaster, right? Because like the sides were pretty much just established. So I don't think it's really fair to call somebody a floater or a coaster yet. But Damien's like, okay, thanks for being honest. You know, it is what it is. And Chelsea also said that she hopes this vote is going to unify the house to get out people that don't deserve to go far in the game. What the F is it all the time with this deserve? Why? No. Okay, so then let's talk more of Chelsea strategizing with Sam and Adam, aka Sam Adams. We find out that Chelsea picked Mark for her Wendy's meal. And during that time, she told him that Kiki is going up because she knows that Mark is close to Kiki. So she's hoping that he can help her to mend that relationship when Kaylin is, you know, potentially backdoored. So Chelsea also said that she doesn't plan on telling Kiki before the nominations that she's going to be going up. But we'll see what happens there. Spoiler alert, she tells her. But anyway, they are pretty sure that they're going to have the votes to take out Kaylin. And then they're like, what are we going to do if Kaylin wins the veto and uses it? And Chelsea says, I guess I'm going to have to put up SC, right? Like, who else is she going to put up? So then Chelsea is like, I don't know, I'm kind of worried that we made a mistake last week keeping Kira. Because Kira will not leave them alone. And right on cue, Kira walks into the room. Oh my god. So Chelsea, for some reason, told Kira that Eddie does not trust Kira. So, like, I'm not really sure. I mean, Eddie did say this to Chelsea, but I'm not really sure why she would share that with Kira when she's supposed to have this deal with Eddie that they're going to look out for each other and stuff. So, like, why would you throw him under the bus like that? I don't get it. But anyway, Chelsea says that they, meaning Kira, Adam, Sam, and then Mark, are the only ones who know the real plan this week, which is to backdoor Kaylin. Okay, so then Kiki and Esty go up to the HOH room and break up that chat. So the others leave. It's just Chelsea, Kiki, and Esty. And Chelsea decides, you know what? I'm just going to share that Kiki's going up. So Kiki's like, okay. She was Pete Davidson in that SNL sketch. Okay. So then Chelsea is like, it's early in the game for me to have this power. So I don't really have like tons to go off of right now. But she said, I feel like we just haven't talked a lot of game. And I feel like it's not really possible to go back to how things were with the big group of 8 in the beginning. Because Kiki was saying like, oh, I think we should all work together again. And Chelsea's like, I just don't see that happening. But she said, that being said, there's potential for other options. You know, we have the veto coming up, so play hard for the veto. We'll see what happens. So she's not telling Kiki that she's a pawn, but she's not outright saying that you're my target either. So Kiki's like, it's okay. Seriously, like, don't be sorry. This is probably harder for you than it is for me to tell me this. Like, it's just part of the game. It's all good. She says, I appreciate that you told me, and I have the chance to play in the power veto. And she even says to Chelsea, moving forward, you're still not on my radar. And honestly, I actually believe she's being sincere there, because Kiki has much bigger targets that she wants to go after before she goes after Chelsea. And I think that Kiki actually wants to pull Chelsea in if she's able to break up the Sam Adams showmance. So then Esty is like, well, is Damien the other nominee? Because he looked really sad. And Chelsea's like, yeah, okay. So then Chelsea was talking to Kira after this, of course, and Chelsea was surprised by how well this conversation went. And seriously, like, Kiki handled it really well. So Chelsea's hoping that she's going to be able to get rid of Kaylin and then repair things with Kiki, because she feels like they could have some sort of working relationship moving forward. So then let's talk about Kiki and Esty. They're trying to like digest this new information. And Kiki is like really upbeat for somebody who just found out that they're going up on the block. So Kiki's like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be okay. I feel good going up against Damien because he's a flip-flopper and he doesn't talk that much game with people. And Kiki says she's going to gun for the veto. But Esty's a little bit worried because if the veto is used, she's like, am I going to go up? Ugh. But Kiki is trying to reassure her. She's like, it's okay. Don't be upset. It's all good. Kiki's like, I'm excited to bounce back from this. This is actually a good thing. Okay, Martha Stewart. But then they were talking about, like, do you think Mark knew about this? Because they've already felt like maybe they can't really trust Mark and he's playing all sides right now, which is true. They feel like Mark knew about this and didn't tell them. And yes, that is the case. But Kiki is really confident. She thinks that Chelsea may actually have a backdoor plan in mind. Right again. Okay. So then a little later, they were talking things over with Kaylin, and Kaylin was like, all right, we got to get to work here. We should plant some seeds to screw over Corey. Let's put this on her. Why is it always Corey? But they want to, Kaylin wants to try and make Chelsea think that Corey is targeting her so that they can get Chelsea to put her up on the block after the veto. Does Kaylin realize the danger that she's in? Because I feel like she does not, as usual. Oh my god. Okay, so then later, Kiki was talking to Eddie and Damien, and she is all sorts of fired up right now. She's like, the line has been drawn. I feel great that this is just out in the open now. She's like, Canada, get ready. She's like, we need to come up with a plan because we can't have anyone from our side going this week. We can't lose anybody because we're already the smaller group. So Kiki's like, you know what? Mackie's not here anymore, so he can't speak for himself anymore. We should come up with a lie that Kira said something about Chelsea to Mackie. You know, something that we can use to stir the pot, get Chelsea upset with Kira. Maybe we can get Chelsea to put Kira up on the block. That is a stretch. I could see Chelsea voting Kira out soon, but I don't see Chelsea putting Kira up on the block, even if she was super annoyed with them. So Kira's like, whatever we decide on, we need to all be on board for it, because if somebody's like not in the loop, it could blow up the whole thing. But she figures Kira is an emotional player, so they're probably going to blow up, and they might sabotage their game. So it is what it is. But Kira feels like they need to plant the seed before the veto so they can get the ball rolling here. But then later, Kira was like, you know what, we should see, Kiki, but also Kira. Kiki was like, we need to just wait until after the veto and see what happens, and then we can work on it. We'll see. Okay, so then the feeds went down for nominations, and as planned, Chelsea put Kiki and Damien up on the block, and I think she did say in her speech that Damien is the pawn. Okay, so then after noms, Kira and Chelsea were chatting, and they're finding it odd that Kiki is so calm right now. It's not adding up for them. So they're like, do you think Mark told her and she knew ahead of time and that's why she's so chill? But they don't think that that's the case. Chelsea says, he's a lone wolf. No. Okay. So then Kira says, do you want my theory on why Kiki's calm? And I say, no. Absolutely not. But they couldn't hear me. So Kira says, I think it's because she's a space cadet, and she opened up to me day 3 about her anxiety and her self-esteem issues. So Kira says that Kiki is internally very lost within herself. She was sobbing, and she had like snot coming out. That's how hard she was snobbing, and she had a full-on panic attack while I held her for an hour. And she says, I think that Kiki is a very self-conscious and lost girl. She begged me, begged me on hands and knees, not to tell anyone about her anxiety. She's so ashamed of it. She, like, begged me not to tell anyone. And yet, here you are, sharing that information, which just seems, like, really shitty to me. Especially when Kira has talked about mental health and stuff in the past, and you would think that you think that they would have some empathy for Kiki, but no. So it's just a little bit like, it's a lot like, what are you doing? But Kira says that Kiki is going to end up isolating herself, and she doesn't want to be perceived as weak, so that's why she didn't want anyone to know about her anxiety. But then Kira was saying that Kiki probably also thinks that she was boring in the first few weeks, and like this is her time in the spotlight. So then Chelsea says, honestly, if I was in here when I was only 23 years old, which Kiki is, she says, I wouldn't know what the F I was doing. And then Kira's like, well, I'm only 25. And what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to say that you're doing well? Because guess what? You are not. Okay, so then Kira and Chelsea were discussing how much time they should be spending together, because I guess Chelsea has told Kira, like, you need to back off because it's a lot and people are noticing, which is true. So Kira's like, well, I've stayed away from you a bit over the last day and a half. And Chelsea's like, but more. And she's saying, people have been bringing up to me how much we're together, which is true. Anthony's pointed it out. I think Dane's pointed it out. A lot of people have pointed it out. So Kira is shooketh. Chelsea says, it's not that I don't want to talk to you, but perception is reality in here, so we need to be a lot more careful about this. So Kira's like, I don't think I've been in here that much. Beesh, come on. So then later, Kira was talking to Chelsea again in the HOH room, and it was really late, and Big Brother played the good night message to be like, go to bed. They should play Samuel L. Jackson doing his go to bed bit. Or like Bethany, or like on Atlanta, go to bed wig. Like, there's so many golden opportunities for like go to bed statements that they could use, but I guess it's like a copyright thing. Whatever. That would be amazing. So anyway, the message plays, and Kira's like, you're not gonna let me sleep in here, are you? Are you kidding me? So Chelsea's like, no, we shouldn't do that. That would not be a good look. People would notice. and Kira is whining and like, oh, I need my pre-bed chat and blah, 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 blah. And Kira's saying that everybody from her room is a have-not, so nobody's going to be in there, nobody's going to notice that they're gone. And, no. Chelsea said no. Move along. Alright, so then today, Kira was causing more waves in their alliance. Now Kira is like, should we take out Kiki instead of Kaylin? And the reasoning here is that Kaylin is weak, and Kiki is tight with Esty and Dane, and that's like a powerful trio that could be emerging. Might want to nip that one in the bud, which is actually true. It's a good point. But Adam shuts Kira down. He's like, no way, Kaylin needs to go. So then Adam brings this up later with Sam and Chelsea. And the girls are both like, Adam, you should at least hear Kira out because Kira is smart. You know, don't count out any ideas. So then Sam and Chelsea are talking about how they're worried how close Dane is getting to Kiki and Esty. And it's like, they also think that Dane is forming this trio with them. So Adam's like, Dane is with us. We need a person on the other side. He's doing his thing. So then Chelsea is like, okay, fine. Like, I want Kaylin out this week. We need to make that happen. Let's just cut the head off of the snake. Okay. But then the girls start talking about Dane again. And they're like, you know, we've told you that Dane has told Kiki multiple times that you, Adam, are a threat to him. So Adam's like freaking laughing at them, and he's like, Dane is just playing the part. We need him on the other side, and if it's going to be convincing, he can't act like we're working together because it wouldn't make sense. Which is a good point, but at the same time, he's coming so close to blowing this Pretty Boys alliance. Oh my god. So Adam says, there's a lot more shit going on here than people think. Oh my god, wake up, ladies. Wake up. So he's like, it may seem like that to you, but it's not. And then the girls are talking about next week. Sam is concerned that Dane would target them if he were to win HOH. And Adam says, no, Dane wouldn't target me. There's so many red flags here. First of all, Adam said he wouldn't target me. He didn't say anything about Sam or Chelsea being targeted. And also, how are you so sure? Right? Red flags. And then Adam just like, oh my god, he's making this crazier and crazier, and it seems like they're just not picking up on it. But Adam says, the boys are not going to go after each other. We have an understanding of what's happening, and we've had many conversations that haven't been with you guys. Damn! Oh my god, he is laying it out on a silver platter! So then Adam is like, honestly, I think that the next three out should be Damien, Eddie, and Kaylin. And I don't think that's in that order because he wants Kaylin to go this week. But they're like, oh, yeah, sure. Why is he not mentioning any of the guys? Come on, any of the guys from that group. So Chelsea, again, she will not let this go. Chelsea's like, if we have power next week, we should take Dane out. Adam's like, no. Like, he keeps shutting it down. But he's also laughing. And I feel like that is a huge red flag in itself. But Adam says, you need to effing trust me. Dane voted with us last week. So then Adam tells Anthony all about what the girls and Kira were saying about Dane, and these two just think it's hilarious. So Anthony is, you know, working that mind. He's trying to come up with a plan for what they're going to do, and he says, we need to let the girls think they have power. So he wants to make sure that Dane is now putting out information that he wants to go after I guess like the same targets that Sam and Chelsea want out. Isn't that going to be convenient that Dane is just going to change his targets like that after they've discussed this? So I don't know. It seems a little bit ridiculous to me, but they're not picking up these clues that are being dropped. So who knows what could get past them. So you guys may be wondering, how's Kaylin doing? So I feel like this is a common thing that keeps coming up. She's still clueless. She was in the storage room by herself at one point today. She tells the cameras that she can run circles around these kids in strategy, but not in physical competitions. And then she says that she needs Damien or Kiki to win the power veto. Oh my god, stop! Why don't you... Oh my god. If one of them wins, you're going up! So then the feeds went down a few hours ago for the Power Veto competition, I'm assuming. I'm not sure who the extra players are. I don't think they had done it before the feeds went down. So maybe it was just like boom, 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 we're picking and then they're playing, I think. So if you guys want to check back later, if the feeds come back at a normal time, I will post the winner in the info box. And if it's really late, like, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until next time, much love.